Well, well, well. We've certainly come a long way from this, haven't we?
Meow?
We've gone from having Sonic the Hedgehog being one of the most dreaded things in human history to it becoming one of the most hyped. The trailers, man. Just the freaking trailers.
Face it, you're never going to get my power.
Do I look like I need your power? Oh my god, he's so goddamn cool!
Seriously, how did we get here? How did we go from this to this in only 3 short years? It's truly a remarkable sight. Idris Elba as Knuckles, the original voice actress for Tails, whose name I can't pronounce to save my life. So sorry, Colleen O'Shea. The Chaos Emerald, Robotnik's giant robot, the tornado. Oh my god, I was finally getting my Sonic movie! After an overall solid first movie that started off kind of meh, but did get better as it went on, I had a strong feeling that this would be the Sonic movie we were all hoping for. And let me tell you something, brother, those trailers did not disappoint! I was hyped as hell. I could not get over it. So finally, after all the waiting, all the hype, rewatching the trailers over and over again, the day had finally come, and I watched Sonic the Hedgehog 2, baby! Woo! I watched the movie, and it was pretty good. Solid movie overall, like 7.5 out of 10. What? Yeah, I know that sounds a little weird, but I mean, what were you expecting? Another Spider-Verse or Prince of Egypt? No, this is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I wasn't expecting some grand magnum opus film that was gonna completely blow away what movies are supposed to be. I was expecting the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And I loved almost every second of it. Everything I ever wanted from a Sonic movie is here. All the great callbacks, the sound effects, the voice acting, Robotnik flosses at one point, pissing off all the man babies on the internet, which is exactly what I wanted. There's a whole subplot about a wedding that comes right out of nowhere and could have been cut out of the film entirely. There's fart jokes and pop culture references again. Yeah, you can see why this movie isn't great. I'm not even kidding. There's this subplot involving the sister from the last movie getting married, and at first, you think this is just a good way to get the humans out of the movie because, like, who the fuck's going to the Sonic movie to see more Tom? But then, about an hour in, suddenly the US government comes back to take Sonic away because he's an alien and whatnot. And there was zero build up to this. It takes like 20 whole minutes to resolve, and it has nothing to do with Robotnik or the Chaos Emerald or anything. It's a completely pointless side mission that could have been cut out of the movie, and it would have changed nothing. I guess this was to give the human characters some plot relevance, since they are out of the movie for the most part, save for this part. But seriously, no one came to see the human characters. I don't care about the US government, or this sassy black woman hating Tom and that being her entire personality. I just don't care. Look, Tom's an okay guy at best, but once Knuckles and Robotnik shows up, Tom and his family and all that stuff are literally the last thing on my mind in a Sonic movie. Just saying. I know this sounds like a spoiler, and yeah, I guess it is, but trust me, it doesn't affect a thing. I'm not gonna spoil anything super major in this movie, but considering what we see in the trailers with the Chaos Emerald, and if you know your Sonic lore, yeah, you're gonna be able to piece together how it ends. But I didn't say it directly, so you can't get mad at me. One thing I can get mad at, however, which is something I brought up on my review of the first movie, is Longclaw's backstory. It still blows. Okay, that is a little harsh, but it's still madly underdeveloped. We still don't learn a lot about her, and plus, we don't see much of her. Again, this was Sonic's mother figure, but she's only brought up like 3 times in the whole movie. And plus, it's pretty much confirmed that she did die in the events of the last movie. That isn't a spoiler either, by the way. It was pretty obvious what happened to her. On top of that, it's kind of just a generic backstory where she was the guardian of the Chaos Emerald, and now it's up to Sonic to defend it. Gee, so the lonely hero is destined to save the universe from an ultimate evil. Never seen anything like that before. Okay, yeah, I know I'm making it sound like it's bad, but it's not. It's really not. Just kind of underwhelming. It does tie into why Knuckles is in this movie, but frankly, I do wish we got more development on his and Sonic's connection. Turns out the two actually have a lot in common, but just when it looks like they're gonna dive into that connection, suddenly they get back into the action, which is fun, but their backstories are just pretty basic and not super well done. They get the job done, but that's about as good as it gets. Normally I'd be okay with this if it wasn't for the fact that this movie is over 2 hours long and 20 whole minutes of it is devoted to this wedding bullshit. You really could have gone into depth with Longclaw's history, how she found Sonic, her battle with the echidnas, all that stuff. But no, wedding shenanigans. That's the way. Or not. It just sucks seeing a huge chunk of the movie being wasted on such a nothing subplot when they could have focused on the more important stuff. It's just really disappointing overall. There's also the typical stuff that you'd expect in this kind of movie. Toilet humor, pop culture references. They bring up Olive Garden again at one point. Like, seriously, what is it with Sonic and Pasta Bowls? For fuck's sake, A&W sells chili dogs! This marketing plan writes itself, guys! Come on! So yeah, this movie does have its fair share of mistakes. But once you get past all of those, you have an absolutely amazing Sonic movie. Oh my god, you guys. The level of love, passion, and detail they put into this movie is insane. From Tails' love for technology, to Sonic sucking up a giant air bubble underwater. Like, oh my god, that was so awesome. I know I complained about the characters' backstories, and I don't know, maybe I'm just missing something from the game since I don't play Sonic games regularly, but man, they just nail these characters anyway. They're still just so fun and likable. I think it does compensate for the lack of good backstories, actually. Despite being a badass, Knuckles is surprisingly the funniest character in the movie. He got the most laughs out of any character, even Robotnik. Yeah, I'm surprised too. I like how they didn't just make him a full-on dimwit, but rather he's just a fish out of water who has his traditional ways that clash with modern society. And Idris Elba nails the voice performance in this movie. His acting sells it so damn well. I knew this was good-ass casting the moment they announced it, and man were we right. Tails is also a lot of fun. I love watching him play with his gadgets, and then later it comes back in the big finale. That was really cool. I like hearing a story about him just wanting a friend, and when Sonic agrees to be his friend, Tails just up and hugs him. Like, oh my god, I couldn't handle it. That was just so sweet. Can we also talk about how the marketing team handled this movie? When the first movie poster dropped, people complained because they forgot to put Colleen. If I'm butchering this, I am so sorry. People complain when they forgot to put her name on it since she does voice one of the main characters. So what did the Sonic team do? They went back and fixed it. Dude, nice. On top of that, they went and made Tails his very own poster. Oh, guys, you didn't have to do that. It's truly remarkable how the Sonic team reacts to criticism. Most studios tend to just ignore it and let the pieces fall where they may, but not Sonic team, no! When people complained about the first movie's design of Sonic, they went back and fixed it. When people complained that a voice actress wasn't being given the respect she deserves, they went back and gave it to her and more. It's truly insane that Sonic is the movie franchise that respects its fans the best. The fight scenes in this movie are just so much fun. You can tell they took huge inspiration from the Sonic Adventure games with that mountain chase and Sonic Heroes with the movie's climax. And like I said before, I'm not spoiling it, but dude, I was out of my seat with this one particular moment that happened in the end. It was awesome. And of course, Jim Carrey once again steals the show as Eggman. Sure, he doesn't wear the fat suit like he said he wanted to do, but damn it, he still looks amazing. You can tell he's given it 100% the same as before. He's even the one who flosses in this movie. After all those people got all butthurt over the flossing in the last movie, this is such an Eggman thing to do. And his assistant Stone, oh, don't get me started. His crush on Robotnik from making little pictures of them together in the coffee he brews, that is the true definition of cinema. The climax is sensational. Everything I could have hoped for in a Sonic movie. I was just so happy to see this. Oh man, I think I'm gonna have to come back to this for a full-on video in the future to really go in depth with how good of an adaptation this is. Like, seriously, I mean it when I say this just might be the greatest video game adaptation we've ever gotten in a movie. I know the bar ain't that high, but still, it's clear that this movie was just a layer of love from people who just truly love Sonic and its community. I mean, for goodness sake, they brought this joke back! Don't tell me these people don't love Sonic. I know it sounded like I was being a little harsh in the beginning, but honestly, I still had an utter blast with this film. I had such a fun time that truly made sitting through the weaker stuff more than worth it. I know people were a bit bummed that they had to wait 2 movies to get the true Sonic experience, but trust me, it was worth the wait. I loved this movie. Even if it could have been better in the end. But even if it wasn't a great movie, it still left me happy and satisfied in the end. And isn't that what cinema is supposed to do? I think so. But for real, though, it's not too late for Sonic 3, guys, okay? A&W is right there with your chili dogs. Like, fuck the pasta bowl. Make that joke happen. Make it happen!
Give me all you've got if you're prepared.